Many people around the world see the United States as being the land of opportunity, but that isn't always the case. There are some communities where it's hard to get ahead and people fall through the cracks. Every state has them, but in this video, we're looking specifically at Minnesota and 6 cities with a population over 5,000 that have the highest poverty rates according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Number 6, St. Joseph. Typically, when a community has a high poverty rate, there's a low median household income that correlates with it, but this city of 7,103 doesn't really have that issue. In the US, the median household income is $69,021, and for the state of Minnesota, it's $77,706. St. Joseph falls short of the state median, but it's better than the national median at $70,292. Yet, 21.9% of the residents fall below the poverty line. At first, I thought this might be related to gender pay gap issues because the population in St. Joseph is 57% female, and this graph that I found from Deloitte shows that even within the same sectors, men are making more money in this community. But then I found that St. Joseph is the site of the College of St. Benedict, which is an all-girls private college. They have an enrollment of approximately 1,600 students, which explains why the city's population skews so heavily towards females. It also explains the high poverty rate. Students usually work low-wage jobs or they don't have jobs at all, so when they're counted on the census, it looks like they're poverty-stricken. Thanks to the presence of the university, educational services account for 27.1% of the jobs in St. Joseph, and the city has a higher than average college degree attainment rate at 35.7%. Number 5, St. Cloud. With a population of 69,568, St. Cloud is the largest community on this list. Out of that number, 11.8% were born in another country and immigrated to the area. Part of that is due to a sizable population of Somali refugees, and a report from Wilder Research found that the poverty rate among that group is 72%, and the poverty rate of all foreign-born residents is 38%, which adds to the overall poverty rate in St. Cloud. According to the St. Cloud Times, the city also has one of the largest populations in Minnesota of school-age children who fall below the poverty line, with more than 2,000 estimated to fall into that category. In addition to that, St. Cloud is a college town with the presence of St. Cloud University, St. Cloud Technical and Community College, and Erasmus College campus. Counting the students on the census helps to drive down the median household income to $54,427, which is more than $23,000 less than the Minnesota median, and it also adds to the poverty rate of 22%. Typically, in larger cities with high poverty rates, you see more crime, and that is definitely the case in St. Cloud. There were 316 violent crimes, including 5 homicides, and 2,604 property crimes on the most recent FBI crime report. That makes the crime rate 82% higher than the national average, and the chance of becoming a victim is 1 in 24. Number 4, Mankato. This is another college town with the presence of Minnesota State University, South Central College, Bethany Lutheran College, and Erasmus University campus. That's part of why the category of educational services is the second largest industry in the city, accounting for 13.7% of the jobs. The other reason is that the largest employer in the city is School District 77. The other top 2 industries in the city are healthcare and retail. 45,140 people are estimated to be living in Mankato, and of those, 22.3% fall below the poverty line, and the median household income is well below average at only $56,274. However, estimates put the number of college students in Mankato at between 1/5 and 1/3 of the population, so some of the census data for income and poverty rates is skewed. As the Mankato Free Press wrote, without college students, Mankato's poverty rate would drop. However, one thing that you see in Mankato that tends to be true in areas with high poverty is a high crime rate. The crime rates in Mankato are 22% higher than the national rate and 19% higher than the state rate. 127 violent crimes, including 2 homicides, and 1,112 property crimes were reported. That puts the chance of becoming a victim at 1 in 35, and Mankato is safer than only 35% of U.S. cities. Number 3, Waite Park. Waite Park is a suburb of St. Cloud with a population of approximately 8,366. Usually when a town has a small population like that, there's very little crime, but Waite Park is different. They reported 725 property crimes and 53 violent crimes, including 4 kidnappings. There weren't any homicides at least, but that makes their overall crime rate 325% higher than the national average. It isn't a matter of if you become a victim of a crime, it's when, because the chance of becoming a victim is an astounding 1 in 11. And Waite Park is safer than only 16% of American cities. This area has a median household income of only $47,018, and a poverty rate of 22.9%. One of the reasons for that is that 18.6% of the adults dropped out of high school, which makes it really hard to get a decent job. Another reason is that retail is the second largest industry in this town, making up 18.5% of the jobs after healthcare and before manufacturing. Number 2, Bemidji. Bemidji is located near the intersection of Highways 2 and 71 in the northern part of the state, and it's a fairly small community with a population of 15,946. But despite its small size, this town has one of the highest per capita crime rates in the state of Minnesota. According to the FBI crime report, there were 79 violent crimes, including 5 kidnappings, and 1,213 property crimes. That makes their crime rate 254% above the national average. That gives the residents of Bemidji a 1 in 13 chance of becoming a victim of a crime, and this town is safer than only 7% of other U.S. cities. The 4 largest industries in this city are healthcare, educational services, retail, and accommodation and food services. So while there are some decent jobs to be found, there are more low-wage positions in Bemidji that drag down the numbers for the entire community. With a median household income that falls well below the state and national averages at only $42,218, 24.8% of the residents live below the poverty line, and up to 80% of the students within the school district qualify for free or reduced lunch. Number 1, Virginia. The small town of Virginia, Minnesota has been struggling for a while, and people have been leaving for greener pastures, which is usually a red flag for a community. Current population estimates put them at 8,332, down from 8,712 in 2010. A lack of opportunity is more than likely the culprit because the median household income is only $44,014 and the poverty rate is 25%. This town has been an iron mining community since the 1890s, so they do still have people working in the industries of mining, quarrying, and oil and gas extraction. That's one of the highest paid industries in the area. However, it only makes up 3.43% of the jobs available. The 3 largest industries are actually healthcare, retail, and manufacturing. On top of all of the economic issues, they also have a crime problem. They reported 43 violent crimes, including 1 homicide, and 213 property crimes, putting their crime rate at 26% above the national average. The chance of becoming a victim is 1 in 34, and Virginia is safer than only 12% of American cities. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, check out my other videos. I have a bunch on poor communities in different states. I'll put the playlist up here. If you really liked it, consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I remain stuck in the cornfield.